This is the normal days you're going back to school. And my friend tells me, Pauline, before you go, let's just go help my brother so that I won't have a lot of work when you go to school. There were 4 men in that house.
One thing led to the other, and I was drugged, and then later on, I was sodomized.
After a victim has been raped, the first thing they should do is they should not take a shower and they should not change their clothes.
Victims of rape go through distressing experiences that sometimes leave them with feelings of self-hate and blame.
Join me and Boy attended this Sunday at 9 p.m.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii ya Isaiah 48 kwa simu yako bonyeza *811 *817#.
Wakati mwingine unaweza kujipata umefinywa pande zote na unaona kama shida yako ni kubwa sana, kama hakuna nguvu ambazo zaweza kuitatua. Lakini ni vyema kujua kwamba kuna Mungu mwenye nguvu na ambaye hachoki kamwe. Isaiah mlango wa 40 mstari wa 8 inasema, je, wewe hukujua? Hukusikia? Yeye Mungu wa milele, Bwana muumba miisho ya dunia, hazimii wala hachoki, akili zake hazichunguziki.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii bonyeza *811 *817#, *811 *817#.
Je, umeomoka? Kama hujaomoka kwenye Quickbin ndio mambo yote. Hapa tuko na fridge, kodi yake ni CM. Tuko na gas cooker, kodi yake ni CK. Tuko na TV, kodi yake ni TV. Tuko na simu aina ya Samsung ni SM, ama Oppo ni Oppo. My friend, mahali popote unanitazama, eka hizo kodi zake kisha utume kwa 4032353. 4032353. Alafu utakuwa unaomoka na hizi bidhaa. Kumbuka kwenye Quickbin ni bila bora zaidi kwa bei ya chini kwa chini.
Days into the month of April, the year 2021, exactly 1 p.m. Thank you so much for creating time for us. You're right in time for the latest in Kenya and beyond borders. We got details of stories that have been shaping conversation in the country, from calls by LSK for the police to fast-track investigations on the increasing cases of murder in the country, and also how we are battling the COVID-19 pandemic amidst those who are also having been termed as those with vulnerabilities. We'll be giving you a special story about the battle against diabetes in the midst of this particular COVID-19 pandemic in the course of this particular broadcast. Thank you so much for creating time for us. Please continue engaging us on social media at Serfine_Achieng and at KBC Channel 1. Welcome on board. We are streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube, so if you're not able to stay with us until the tail end, please carry us along with you. Welcome on board. My name is Serfine Achieng Ouma and our sign language interpreter is Byron Abuli. Now, the Law Society of Kenya demands that the Inspector General of Police and the Director of Criminal Investigations expedite the investigations into the murder cases recently reported in the country. In a statement to media houses, LSK is concerned by the increased cases of murders, among them the brutal shooting of a KBC employee, Betty Baraza.
While condemning the brutal murder of KBC employee Betty Baraza, the Law Society of Kenya questioned the efficiency and efficacy of security measures put in place by the government. Betty's murder happened barely 2 weeks after the heinous killing of National Land Commission Communications Deputy Director Jennifer Wambua. Investigations are still pending with no report of arrest of any suspect to date. LSK interprets these rising insecurity cases as failure by duty bearers in upholding their mandate and constitutional duty to protect the lives and property of Kenyan people. The society demands the Inspector General of Police and Director of Criminal Investigations expedite the investigations. The society additionally calls for immediate action by the government to ensure that security measures are enhanced, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic period when crime is likely to escalate. Through the statement signed by CEO Mercy Wambua, LSK is urging the government to return the tax reliefs put in place in the year 2020 to cushion citizens, businesses and investments from the effects of ongoing lockdown as a result of COVID-19 pandemic. Kevin Washira, Channel 1 News.
May your soul continue to rest in peace, Betty, and we hope that the perpetrators of this heartless act will be brought to book. Now, residents of Kisii and Kangoki villages in Thika have called on the Kiambu County government to act swiftly and repair a sewage drainage system in the area which has been destroyed by floods. The residents say the situation has been aggravated by the ongoing heavy rains, with the raw sewage putting them at risk of contracting waterborne diseases. This is the unfortunate situation that residents of Kisii and Kangoki villages in Thika, Kiambu County, have been forced to endure since the onset of heavy rains that have been pounding the area. Life is slowly becoming unbearable due to the flooded waters, coupled with the foul smell of untreated sewage seeping into their homes.
Hii sewage imejaa kwa maboma yetu. Hata hatuna mahali ya kutoka nje ama kuingia ndani. Mifereji yetu imetoboka, imejaa sewage ndani. Hata sasa nikikupea maji ni black kwa maana imeingia sewage.
The residents say that the prevailing situation has left them with health complications and are worried that it is putting them further at risk of contracting waterborne diseases.
Mimi mwenyewe imenipea arthritis at my age na nimetibiwa na hata sponi. Juu sasa wakati ninapotibiwa, mvua ikinyesha, ndio hiyo sewage inafurika huko.
Wakati huu kuna mfuriko mwingi hivi, tunakutwa na unapata mbu ni wamezaana na wamekuwa wengi kwa njia isiyofaa. Tena unapata kuna vitu kama chula ambazo zina tembea huku, unapata chula zimeingia kwa nyumba, umbu ni wengi. Sasa tunashindwa tatizo hili tutakaa nalo hadi muda upi? Usaidizi utakuja hadi lini? Tutateta hadi lini?
They claim that their efforts to seek intervention from the Kiambu County government and the Thika Water and Sewerage Company have not borne any fruit.
Sisi tukua wakaaji wa hapa, mahali sewage iko ni hapa kama mita 200. Ili hali na sisi wenyewe hata hatuna hiyo siwaraini. Lakini wao wako na nguvu ya kufungulia sewage itoke kwa tunnel yao ikuje kwa manyumba zetu.
Walisema pesa imetoka, wanafanya. Hiyo kitu imeishi karibu sasa inaelekea 2 years. Na ukiangalia from there to here hata sio 10 kilometers, hakuna kitu wamefanya.
The residents say they have run out of options and may soon be rendered homeless. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Serfine Achieng Ouma. Still focusing on matters hygiene and health, let me take you to Baringo County, where security apparatus carrying out operation in the volatile Baringo County have been urged to allow continuation of healthcare service provision to the affected area. Baringo Health Chief Officer David Cherop revealed that a number of health facilities have been closed as healthcare workers in the region have fled since the operation began.
A public health crisis is looming in Baringo County as health facilities remain cut off from the area residents due to the ongoing government operation to flush out the bandits in the area. Baringo Health Chief Officer David Cherop says remote health facilities have been closed as healthcare workers in the region have fled for their dear lives since the operation began.
That healthcare is one of the most important aspects of life. And that because our security is actually a key player in this, I urge them to allow us, especially our healthcare workers, to get access to those rural facilities and probably be given security to be able to have a good working environment, to be able to handle our patients, especially mothers, delivering mothers.
The medic claiming that expectant mothers have been forced to deliver at their homes, while many children continue to suffer from malaria, typhoid, and malnutrition.
We do outreaches to reach these persons who are far and those who are affected. So we actually plan even with our partners to make sure that we accelerate some of the activities that we had planned to ensure that any losses or any missed opportunities that had occurred during this operation, we sort of get to recover.
Tiati area has even before the operation been undergoing numerous challenge of getting proper health care service owing to vastness of the region. Timothy Kipnusu, Channel 1 News.
Now, at least 50 people have been arrested at the Kenya Defence Force Recruits Training School in Eldoret after presenting fake calling letters. The Chief Recruiting Officer, Brigadier Muteti, regretted that Kenyans continue being duped by fraudsters who sell them fake calling letters for KDF recruitment. Irene Mchuma-Odim with the details.
They had arrived armed with recruitment letters at the KDF recruitment school in Eldoret. But this was the far the 50 would only go, ending up under arrest. Joseph Onyancha, accompanied by his 12 relatives, who in total managed to raise 3.5 million shillings, turned up with the fake letters expecting to join the Kenya Defence Forces.
Huyu mama ambao ni neighbor yangu akanipeleka kwa mama mwingine. Huyu mama ndiye alikuwa na uwezo na akuwa connected kwa KDF. So akaniambia ikiwa uko na pesa utasaidika kijana andikwe kazi. So nikarudi kwa nyumba tukaongea na wazazi pamoja. Tukaelewana tukasema wacha tujaribu wawili.
And a man from Navaholo, Kakamega County, was duped to sell his parcel of land to buy his son a slot at the KDF recruitment exercise.
Walikuwa wamesema nitafute shilingi 1,400. Na sasa hiyo nyumbani inatosha eka moja. Sasa ilikuwa asafiri tukutane kwa gate. Ndipo sasa aconnect na huyo mwenye mkubwa wa hapa, ndipo sasa mtoto achukuliwe.
Chief Recruitment Officer Brigadier Muteti warned Kenyans against being duped and promised those involved will face the law. According to Muteti, police are holding 50 suspects for fake letters.
All of them have confirmed to have been conned for various amounts of money. This morning, we impounded a group of conmen who are posing as persons who are assisting those recruits to acquire calling letters. 13 of them were conned, and 3 others have actually been arrested with fake calling letters.
Now, health experts say those with diabetes and non-communicable diseases like hypertension are highly susceptible to COVID-19. Doctors say those with such conditions are more likely to contract COVID since their immune systems are down, and are advised to take more caution and adhere to the COVID-19 protective measures. I will be bringing that story to you in just a bit, but first let me take you to Samburu County, where the county government of Samburu has commenced a sensitization campaign to educate locals on the need to protect themselves from the coronavirus pandemic. Area Governor Moses Lononkulal says the move is aimed at having locals know the dangers and the impact of the pandemic.
A county compliance team has been formed in Samburu to enhance enforcement of Ministry of Health guidelines on COVID-19. Samburu Governor Moses Lononkulal said that teams will be dispatched to the grassroots to sensitize residents on COVID-19 and the importance of adhering to the various containment measures.
We'll need to enhance enforcement, of course disseminate and refresh issues on guidelines, on protocols, all the way down to the village level, as we continue to urge our people to take precaution.
The governor put in on notice bar owners operating past curfew hours, saying no business entity will be spared for complacency.
And bring the violators to book. As a county government, we have committed to withdraw licenses for bars that operate beyond the curfew hours.
Samburu County Commissioner Abdrisak Jaldesa advised locals in rural areas against a false notion that COVID-19 was only an urban disease.
That's the message we are going to drum up, including to all our villages where they feel that COVID is for the urban areas. Not for urban areas, it's a reality now and it is penetrating everywhere.
Nancy Okware, Channel 1 News.
Now, the national government, through the Coast Development Authority, has launched a 45 million shilling Chala integrated water resource project in Taita Taveta County. The project is set to benefit at least 100 smallholder farmers in the Nakuruto and Chala areas from the first phase of the project. The 1,000-hectare irrigation project is supposed to be implemented in 3 phases, and once complete, will cost the state 3.3 billion shillings. Speaking during the launch in Taita Taveta Nakuruto area, Coast Regional Commissioner John Elungata, who doubles up as the chair of the National Development Implementation Technical Committee in the coastal region, say the national government has implemented more than 500 development projects in the region.
Ward administrator, kazi yako sasa ni kuhakikisha kwamba marketing inafanywa kupitia kwa cooperative ambayo imeandikishwa hapa. Hii miradi ya Chala Integrated Water Resource Project ni miradi kubwa ambaye ikifaidiliwa mzuri itahitaji ama itagharimu serikali karibu bilioni 3.
Tunapenda kushukuru sana pia wanafunzi wetu wa shule zote walikuwa wanapata matatizo ya maji, walikuwa wengine wanabeba maji kwa kutumia mitungi kwa kijana wa shuleni, lakini sasa hiyo shida sasa imeisha. Kwa hivyo tumesaidika sana. Kuna sekta ya wafugaji, alafu kuna umbrella kubwa ambayo inasimamia hizo kamati zote.
That good news from Taita Taveta takes us to our first break right here on KBC Channel 1 Lunchtime News. Don't go too far. We are coming back with much more.
Je, umeomoka? Kama hujaomoka kwenye Quickbit ndio mambo yote. Hapa tuko na fridge, kodi yake ni CM. Tuko na gas cooker, kodi yake ni CK. Tuko na TV, kodi yake ni TV. Tuko na simu aina ya Samsung ni SM, ama Oppo ni Oppo. My friend, mahali popote unanitizama, eka hizo kodi zake kisha utume kwa 4032353. 4032353. Alafu utakuwa unaomoka na hizi bidhaa. Kumbuka kwenye Quickbit ni bila bora zaidi kwa bei ya chini kwa chini.
On KBC Channel 1.
My mom told me that you and Constanza will not be getting married because she thought that you and my mom have been dating. What? But no, I don't believe it.
What I said to you was true. I'm not going back to that anymore.
The only thing I ask from you, my love, is more time.
Time that I'm tired of giving you. It's not the first time you asked me for it, and each time there's a bigger excuse why we cannot carry out our plans.
What is it you want?
I need you to look for evidence on the relationship of Manuel Olazabal
And the secretary of my brother Maximiliano. Her name is Genoveva Mendoza.
I think they even have a son. I want to know everything about them.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Yes, Ejua furaha tunayo kweli. Lakini mimi nasikia kuna vitu yani vinazunguka huko kichwani mwangu.
Sisi unajua sielewi. Manake last time tukiwa hapa tuliambiwa kuwa leo alikuwa haiko na jamaa mwingine na sasa tunakuwa naye. So what is the way forward?
Mimi nitamwambia gavana lifeline ya kwamba bwana gavana, mimi naelewa ugomvi uliokuwepo katikati yako na marehemu baba.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. We still got more lined up ahead for you, so let's move on. A section of residents from Lolongo, Machakos County, are living in fear of eviction following alleged threats to vacate a 400-acre piece of land. According to the residents, there has been a challenge of alleged rumors of numerous attacks where armed goons with crude weapons have been terrorizing and intimidating them, the latest being demolition of houses that have left families homeless.
The devastated residents of Kwamulenge Phase 4 alleged that unknown hired goons had frequently attacked them in an effort to forcefully evict them from the disputed 400 acres prime land. Residents claim the attackers demolished houses in the wee hours of the night, rendering tens of families homeless.
Tukia kuna tingatinga inakata barabara kwa hii shamba yetu, of which ni kitu yenye tu kwa tumepewa notice na si mpango ya wenye shamba wenye walikuwa nakata. So ni watu wengine wamekuja wenye hatuwajui na wamekuja na nia pia hata ya kubomoa pia mpaka manyumba zetu. Tuna watoto kwa hii mtaa. So pale tunahofia inaweza kuwa ni riski tukiwa hii mtaa. Bado tuna wasiwasi maana hatujui wanaweza kuja pia hata usiku. Hatujajua wako na nia gani.
Wanakuja na maaskari asubuhi, kwanza asubuhi alikuwa na maaskari wametupia watoto wamepatia ngasi, wamekimbiza wa mama, wanatoa watu kwa nyumba wanaambia waame, na tukiuliza kama kuna kododa hatujaona kododa yote, na mpaka saa hii hatujui mahali tunaenda kwa sababu tunahofia sana kwa sababu wanasema wanakuja na hatujui wanaendaje, ukitaendaje na hatujui tutalala wapi.
They claim that grabbers have been demarcating the piece of land under a tight watch of armed policemen.
Sasa kama ni serikali tafadhali waingilie kati kabisa, wajue kama ni nini. Polisi kama wamewaweka hapa wazingatie sana maslahi ya wananchi, si ati sasa ni wao ndio wanakuwa pamoja nao matajiri.
The locals say they have been occupying the land since 2006 and are now living in fear of a possible attack from the well-connected grabbers.
Tunahofia sana, tumeenda makazi tukirudi, tunahofia sana sasa tukaa tumeacha watoto wetu. Alafu tusikie nini tingatinga imepita na barabara venye leo imefanyika. Tupate watoto ama tupate nyumba, yani kila kitu imeharibika. Ni sisi tutahuzunika kama kina mama.
Athi River Deputy County Commissioner Charles Wambogo has reassured residents of heightened security patrols.
They encourage parties in dispute to take their disputes to court, and they bring to us status quo. And this is on the ground, to remain on the ground, but not to do anything, not to subdivide, not to bring new people, not to bring buyers, and not to build, not to do structures and not fence. Ours as a security committee, we have agreed is to enforce status quo.
Wambogo says security agencies are strictly enforcing court orders, and anybody who contravenes the law will face lawful consequences.
Mtu anatishia mwingine, inafaa uende kwa police station, kwa kituo ya police, uende ureport, upewe OB number, na kutoka hapo mwenye kutishia wewe atashukuriwa na askari ama polisi na aweze kupelekwa kotini. Lakini inafaa watu wakae kwa amani, kwa sababu kesi ikiwa kotini na sisi hatuwezi ingilia. kesi ikiwa kotini inafaa iashiwe ikae kotini, na koti ikipeana status quo, sisi tunaendelea kutekeleza status quo kama kamati ya sub county.
Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Jackie Wambiro.
Now, health experts say those with diabetes and non-communicable diseases like hypertension are highly susceptible to COVID-19. Doctors say those with such conditions are more likely to contract COVID-19 since their immune systems are down, and are advised to take more caution and adhere to the COVID-19 protective measures.
Dr. Rosalind Ngoge, a diabetologist, says access to diabetes medication in most hospitals has become a struggle, and urges people to take precaution by keeping their blood sugars regulated to avoid more cases of diabetes in the country.
We have adequate amount of insulin, the right type of insulin. I can honestly say we do not. Then when we come to the different types of drugs, the antivirals, what I have access to in a private, I do not in this public.
Following the recent scarcity of beds in hospitals due to increased COVID-19 cases, Rosalind urges those who are diabetic to be extra cautious.
Now, do we have the bed capacity to be able to handle if all diabetics were to be admitted? We do not. The likelihood of you requiring oxygen is very high, and we do not have adequate amounts of oxygen.
Peter Ngatia, a clinical officer, advises on healthy living for all people as a way to prevent diabetes contraction. Ngatia also urges diabetics to move to more advanced and affordable treatment in order to regulate the severity of the illness.
But one of the key factors would the people manage your sugars, keep your sugars to optimal, bring blood pressures down, weight down, and also we bring the cholesterol down.
Newton Ngoge, a diabetic and counselor at the Kenya Defeat Diabetes, says living with the disease is challenging, more so as to these times of the coronavirus pandemic.
Especially during the COVID season, we have faced challenges, especially people living with diabetes, whereby in terms of a supply of our medication, there has been an erratic supply, whereby it is in and out of stock. There has also been changes in the socioeconomic spectrum, whereby some of the members of KDD, also people like me also, have got a situation of losing maybe their source of livelihood. So in that situation, it has impacted the management of the condition.
Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Wamboi Otiende.
Now time for sports news. Al Ahly concluded their CAF Champions League group stage campaign with a 1-0 home victory over Tanzanian champion Simba. The match, which was beamed live on KBC Channel 1, saw Mohamed Sherif score the lone goal to ensure a quarter-final spot for the Egyptians. Tonight, South African side Kaizer Chiefs will be aiming for a top finish in Group C when they play away to Guinean side Horoya FC.
Here in this final round of matches in
Al Ahly ran out 1-0 winners over Simba SC in a CAF Champions League Group A match at the Al Salam Stadium. The two sides had already qualified for the quarter-finals, with Simba as group winners while Al Ahly accompanying them as runners-up. The Egyptians were determined to average 1-0 defeat to Simba in the reverse fixture, which was played in Tanzania 2 months ago. The Red Devils dominated the match from the start, and they managed to break the deadlock 2 minutes after the half-hour mark through Mohamed Sherif. The 25-year-old attacker's header was saved by Simba goalkeeper Aishi Manula, but he fired home from the rebound to hand Al Ahly a well-deserved 1-0 lead.
Whipped in nicely, and surely it's the opener. Yes, it is. Sherif, he's looked so dangerous in this match. And that's the opener, and you've got to say it was coming.
The visitors did threaten in the second half, with former Gor Mahia striker Madi Kagere and Zambian international Clotus Chama forcing Al Ahly captain and goalkeeper Mohamed El Shenawi into fine saves. The match, which was beamed live in KBC Channel 1, saw the Tanzania's club Cus in Egypt maintained with first with just 2 draws and 22 defeats in 24 visits. Meanwhile, Kaizer Chiefs of South Africa are in Guinea where they take on Haroya FC in a CAF Champions League Group C match. Participating in their first ever group campaign, Chiefs could record history in this competition by reaching the quarterfinals if they at least manage a second draw against the Guineas. Today's encounter will be their final game in Group C, and they are currently third in 8 points, the same as Haroya, who are in second spot. The match will be live on KBC Channel 1 from 10 p.m.
The ball is whipped in, and how on earth has that missed everyone? The keeper missed it, the defenders missed it, Pascal getting a dressing down from the goalkeeper, but the referee brings the game to a close, and it's...
Remember, we are your true sports partner tonight. Please don't miss that match between Kaizer Chiefs of South Africa and Haroya FC from Guinea. It will be played right here on KBC Channel 1. We'll be showing that match live from 10 p.m. Don't miss that. Now, moving on to something else that we have for you in the world of sports. The 31st round of the English Premier League fixtures kick off this afternoon as leaders Manchester City host Leeds United at the Etihad Stadium, with a race for the top four finish culminating at Anfield as English champions Liverpool face Aston Villa, while Chelsea take on Crystal Palace in the London Derby.
Redemption, vengeance and return to form at home will be on the agenda for Liverpool when they welcome Aston Villa to Anfield today. The Reds were on the end of a 7-2 humiliation in the reverse fixture at Villa Park in October, one of 9 defeats they have suffered this season, to leave them playing catch-up in the top 4 race. However, Jurgen Klopp has no fresh injury concerns but will assess the condition of his squad in the wake of their midweek European exploits. Aston Villa captain Jack Grealish suffered a setback upon his return and will be sidelined along with striker Wesley. In London, Crystal Palace will endeavour to inflict a second league defeat to Chelsea tactician Thomas Tuchel when the Eagles host the Blues at Selhurst Park. Tuchel suffered his first league defeat in a 5-2 loss against West Bromwich Albion last weekend. Palace underlined how solid they are with their draw against Everton on Monday. However, their hero of the hour, Michy Batshuayi, who is on loan from Chelsea, is ineligible to play against his parent club. Roy Hodgson is boosted with the return of James McCarthy and Tyreek Mitchell. Central defender Thiago Silva is the only absentee for the Blues. In the early kick-off match, league leaders Manchester City will host Leeds United at the Etihad Stadium. Last night, Adama Traore's 92nd minute stunner gave